black-owned restaurant called The District. Apparently, the restaurant is in some sort of legal dispute with the landlord, and it's gotten pretty ugly. So ugly, in fact, that the 3 black members of the LA City Council recorded a video in support of the restaurant, which is now circulating online. You might have seen it by now. To be clear, here at KBLA, we have nothing but love for council members Heather Hutt and Curran D. Price Jr., who have been real champions for this particular black-owned and operated business, even though KBLA does not sit in either of their council districts. But take a listen to our 8th District Council member, Marquise Harris Dawson, who, as you know, is also president of the LA City Council.
Marquise Harris Dawson, president of the Los Angeles City Council and representative of District 8. We just want you to know, from the 10th District to the 8th District and all across the city, we love the district. We support Tyree and the whole team that's there. It's one of the most beloved sports watching facilities in our district, and we all stand by them 100%.
All right, now for starters, lip service is not leadership, and slogans are not solutions. That said, I played that video at least 5 times. I mean, I was gobsmacked. The council president stands with black businesses 100%? Oh, really? Is that just in the 10th council district? Good brother, you need to travel south down Crenshaw about a half mile. When you get to Vernon, get out the car and walk a few blocks. Ask the black business owners in your 8th council district how they feel about being economically asphyxiated, not by an alleged predatory landlord, but by a city project that you launched years ago and cannot seem to get across the finish line. Can I keep it real? Can I keep it real? What is the point of having a black city council president if he cannot find the funds to finish a years delayed project in his own district? What is the point of having a black city council president who cannot curate a business interruption development fund for the suffocating businesses in his own district? I declare, these black faces in high places don't mean diddly squat if they cannot deliver for black people. In the next editorial, I'm going to tell you what accountability looks like. And if the city still can't figure it out, well, I guess we'll have to show them what accountability looks like. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Oye, que no me toquen la puerta, que el negro está cocinando.
Says don't knock on my door because the brother's trying to cook right now. Let him cook. Turn it back up for a second, Mom. Just back, in case you're wondering, that's Los Van, one of the most classic Black Cuban, Afro-Cuban bands. And we're being joined in the studio right now. She's the co-founder of the Black Lives Matter Black Lives Matter Youth Vanguard. She is an activist in her own right, part of the March for Our Lives, a recent Howard University graduate, and just got back from Cuba. Thandiwe Abdullah, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
And we're being joined by telephone from somewhere in the world. He is the
We never know.
National Field Director for Black Lives Matter Grassroots, a longtime organizer, worked on the presidential candidates of 6 different would-be presidents. And he's also the founder of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, also just back from the island nation. Akili, good morning. Akili, are you with me?
Yes, good morning. And I'm calling from Senatobia, Mississippi,
Okay.
where we are with with the family of Kohen Wiley, who was the 1-year-old who was murdered by the police here. And
Oh,
so
baby
Cohen. We're actually in the parking lot of Walmart, staging a protest and full day of demonstration. The funeral is tomorrow. There's a town hall tonight, and people are mobilizing, demanding 3 things: the officer be fired and prosecuted, release all unedited video and audio, and that a permanent committee be established to monitor and make sure that there's transparency and accountability with the police here in Senatobia.
I'm really glad you're there. The baby Kohen Wiley story, that is really just horrifying. As a baby, there's just no justification for killing a baby.
Right, for killing anyone.
Yes.
A baby.
Yeah, especially a baby.
And I think it's, and I've been telling people, and by the way, we have people from Black Lives Matter all across the country here today. But one of the things that the people are saying to us is, one, this so-called notion of they may have been shoplifting because of some diapers. Nobody has been charged with anything. So if there was a crime, how come nobody's been charged? I met with the parents last night. When we got in and we talked with them, they're grieving, as you might expect, and what we've observed with Black Lives Matter, this is unexplainable, and so you can't make sense of it. And people who have lost their loved ones, they want to make sense of what's happening, and there's no way to make sense of it. We're here with a lot of families from the justice families, from Columbia, from Atlanta, we got folks here from Ohio, we got folks here from South Carolina, we got folks here, BLM folks. So we got folks from around the country that are here in support. And we want to, and we said this to the family last night, we want to show them that they are not alone. Mm-hmm. This is a small town where you can easily get away with something like this.
Well, that makes me feel so happy that people from all over came to support the family, because this story, I read the news all the time because it's my job, but this story just had me crying. There's just no way. And then people on social media criticizing the mom for not crying.
Yes.
Like, she's processing her grief. Can you imagine? That's a baby and it died in her arms. Like, they shot into a moving vehicle. And don't get me started, because the thing that really angers me about this, to what you just said, Akili, is that people say, oh, she didn't even steal the diapers. I don't care if she stole the whole freaking store. You don't kill a 1-year-old baby. Right. I don't care if she stole the White House, the entire mint. You don't kill a baby.
And one of the things, and I know we want to talk about Cuba, but one of the other things that is equally as despicable about this is that the narrative on social media is that she was holding up the baby to try to defend herself.
Wow, I've not seen that. But
that's what she said on that video was that she was trying to show the police that there was a baby in the car, so they wouldn't shoot, and they shot anyway because they're disgusting and terrible.
Yep. And one of the things we have been saying to people is that this is why, unfortunately, there is a Black Lives Matter Grassroots. And I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we have a lot of people from around the country here. So I want to give a shout out to all the people that are here. Jennifer Kane, who is our lead organizer in Memphis, which is about 40 miles from here, has been on the ground here every day. You talked with Marquel early on. He's been on the ground here every day. And so this is why there is a Black Lives Matter. To end state-sanctioned violence, socially, politically, and economically. And this is a classic example of state-sanctioned violence.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like when people say, "Oh, he wasn't a gang member. He wasn't." We don't have to be perfect to not die.
Right.
And also, I do believe they weren't stealing anything. But I just hate that we have to defend that, because that's not the point. You're a murderer. Well, why are we talking about diapers?
Yep. And one of the things I talk about a lot is Black death is too high a price to pay to make real change in this society. I mean, that's a cost that no people should have to pay.
Right.
But unfortunately, we have the Emmett Tills and the George Floyds and the Breonna Taylors and others that we have to put up with. But there is a Black Lives Matter.
And I know that there's probably something. I know the demands are up, but people can call. If people are as upset about baby Kohen Wiley as we are, what should they do, Akili?
Well, they're forming a committee now, and they do have some social media up, and I'll hopefully get that to you before the end of the show. But I think
I know Ben Crump has stepped in now, right? So
yes, he was here, I think, at the beginning of the week. So that helps bring attention to it. But I think the biggest thing that we've got to do, and I'm glad that there's a KBLA, is that we've got to be the ones to tell this story. We can't go to sleep on this. Mm-hmm. I just got back 2 weeks ago from Collin, Texas, with the trial of Carmelo Anthony, and so our people are being murdered and railroaded, in phenomenal numbers. And one of the things that's happening right now, and I meant to talk to you when I was on the show last week, that we are first, they are denying our existence, they're denigrating what exists that's demonstrated, and then they're trying to erase what does exist. I mean, one of the things that I think that you got to ask yourself a question: why is being asleep better than being woke? So they're attacking wokeness. That is, you're awake, you're curious, you're functioning. What this regime wants is people that are asleep. What this regime,
right.
so that they can ban books and exercise and maintain and exercise power for themselves. And so we have to be.
They don't want you to boycott Walmart either.
Yes.
And take your
that's
economic power back.
Go ahead, Thandiwe.
Because I also want to highlight, that's one of I think the biggest asks of the family and of movement for Kohen Wiley is, if the system is not going to punish these murderers, they murdered a baby. They murder people every day. So we have to take matters into our own hands and essentially do the job of the system for it. We know that there's no justice for Black people just by asking.
Right,
and
right.
I think that's what Baba Akili was saying with the case of Carmelo Anthony. Like, justice is never freely given to Black people. So please boycott Walmart. This is not the first time that Walmart has called the police on Black shoppers and gotten them killed. We've had the cases of John Crawford III in Mississippi, also in Mississippi, I believe.
Yeah.
And so there's another case of someone in California, and there's just been multiple cases like this. We cannot continue to patronize these establishments where they only see our Black dollars as dollars, and they see our Black bodies as just bodies coming in with money to spend instead of human lives. And that's why I think folks are so comfortable hearing these kinds of stories. Our blood should not be so cheap to folks. The fact that a baby can be murdered systemically, like by our tax-paid public servants, allegedly, right? That is ridiculous. There should be way more of an outcry, and unfortunately, I think these institutions will only care if their pockets hurt. So boycott Walmart and spread that message. And
people have been protesting in the parking lot. I know that Mississippi Walmart has been largely shut down. But one of the asks is it is shut down, right? It's not functioning right now.
Yes, it is.
But we can boycott our local Walmart because they need to release the tapes that they have. They have tapes from inside the store that prove she didn't steal anything. Mm-hmm. They have tapes from the parking lot, and so far they're holding on to them. So they need to be pressured. Look, Marquel did say for some people that's the only option they have to get groceries. We forgive you if that's your only option, but if you have any other option, you need to stay out of Walmart and let them know why.
That's also by design, by the way. Walmart is a multi-million or maybe even more dollar corporation owned by the family, I don't know their name, but it's like it's a very classic story of corporate greed where they systemically push out small businesses. They make sure that they are the only option for all of us that we're living in food deserts, so that we have to go to the places where they're more than comfortable.
The Walton family.
The Waltons.
Walton.
You know, that family, if they had any soul, they would have been said something, right? So the fact that this is a quote-unquote family-owned, multi-million or more business, their workers are being paid dirt. They're training their workers to call the police on black people left and right in state after state after state. The abuses of the workers are crazy. I mean, there's just no good reason to be spending your money with this kind of place.
And to me, it also enrages me that we're constantly talking about whether or not this person shoplifted when that cop shot through the door, the passenger side of a moving car, which is out of policy for every police department, just about every police department in the whole world. So why aren't we talking about that?
Right.
Well, and I think that there's two other things. One,
quickly, because you know this clock. You know we're behind the clock here. So quickly.
Yes. So very quickly, one, they want full transparency, and they want the audio and
the family.
And digital, the family of the 911 call also. So that's a part of two things. The center of the demand is transparency and accountability. And so part of what we're doing here today. So let's move to Cuba now.
Yeah. No, we're gonna continue this conversation. Don't worry, I got this. I'm pretty good at hosting radio shows. Yeah, we'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Where the overlooked become unmissable. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Wishing happy birthday to KBLA. 5 years old, yeah, with more that's coming your way. Congratulations, come on, y'all, let's celebrate. Happy birthday to KBLA. 5 years deep and we still going up. Built it from the ground, now the real knowing us. Real talk on the air, then the truth get heard. Every day the proof getting served. He had a vision and he stayed with the plan. Now they tapped in from the beach to the land. Never back down, 7 days of the week, still going up now. We 5 years deep. Wishing happy birthday to KBLA. Happy smiling, you did it with 5 years today. Congratulations, come on y'all, let's celebrate. Happy birthday to KBLA.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Learn more at viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Sandunga! Sandunguera!
Sandunguera, se te va por encima la cintura. No te muevas más así, que te vas por encima del nivel. Sandunguera, se te va por encima la cintura. No te muevas más así, que te vas por encima del nivel.
He's kind of going like, don't shake it like that. You're taking it up a level. He's like that's kind of what he's saying. Anyway, that's more Bun Bun. And we set out to talk about Cuba. We will get a report back now. Thandiwe Abdullah is with us and calling live from Mississippi. Akili is on the phone. And yeah, thank you both for all the work that you're doing in the U.S. and in Cuba. This was a trip that was put together by the Institute for the Black World, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was. It was an all-black delegation of some of the most incredible thought leaders, professionals of all different kinds of fields and backgrounds, lifetime organizers. I mean, I was honored to be I think the youngest person on the delegation, and I was just learning. Like, my eyes were so wide. I'm so honored to be sitting next to these people. They asked all the right questions, and yeah, truly amazing backgrounds. I don't know if you have anything to add, Baba Akili.
Well, a very quick shout out to Dr. Ron Daniels and the Pan-African Unity Dialogue for having both the vision. A lot of people got vision, but then how do you turn that vision into something real?
Right.
And they worked on this. And it wound up being a powerful delegation that spoke to the interests, conditions, and concerns of black people both in the U.S. and in Cuba. So I want to shout out Dr. Ron Daniels and the Institute of the Black World 21st Century and the Pan-African Unity Dialogue.
Yeah, one of the things that people don't realize, I think, being formerly married to a Cuban, is that a lot of Cubans are black. I mean, people think Cuban means Ricky Ricardo from I Love Lucy, but a lot of Cubans are black.
Right.
Yeah.
They are. I mean, go ahead, Baba. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say part of the reason is because it was a stop on the Atlantic slave route, a major stop, and so there's a lot of Africans that are there, and they, like most countries, have had their issues with racism and discrimination. And one of the things that I felt good about is that they passed legislation against racism. When I was there, I guess about 5 years ago, no, more than that, they were doing a whole anti-racist campaign. There were billboards all over about how we fight back against anti-racism and the rest. But they admit that the attitudes and the discrimination are still ingrained in the population, and it still has to be fought against.
Well, yeah, white supremacy is a worldwide problem. And that was also an advancement for Cuba, because I know that there was a period where they were not wanting to record anything about race because they were wanting to say that they were beyond it. And sometimes that ends up with just the sort of allowing folks to turn a blind eye to what's happening. I say that the main reason I said that is because the Institute of the Black World, if you don't know, you might think, well, why are they going to Cuba specifically?
I mean, Cuba is a black island. Cuba's a black nation. It is seen as a black nation. And I believe, and I think a lot of folks with our IBW delegation have the understanding that Cuba is being targeted in part because of its status as being seen as a black revolutionary country. I mean, this is a country, and when I say black, I'm not saying black in terms of the literal sense, only, because it's a very multi-ethnic, multiracial, different religions are on this island, different backgrounds, right? But Cuba has had a long history. I mean, almost all of its revolutionary history, going back to like its national independence, always included the topic of slavery. It always was about, African liberation. Africa is still very prominent in the hearts and minds of folks there. Even, light-skinned, pale, white-looking people in Cuba, they're like, we love Africa, right?
Well, it's culturally, there's a lot of African culture there, yeah.
There's a lot, and they love it, and they embrace it, and there's a long history of African solidarity, with supporting liberation movements on the continent, places like Angola, where they literally helped Angolans fight for their independence. And so I think that Cuba is being punished in a similar way to maybe even Haiti, of being the symbol of Black resistance and sovereignty.
Yeah, we only have a minute here till news, traffic, and sports. You want to pile on that? Because I always think, imagine defying the United States for 60 plus years, but you're within swimming distance pretty much of Miami.
And I think to build on what Thandiwe just said, Haiti, Grenada, and Cuba, these are heavily Black populated areas, and that they are constantly being sought and oppressed.
Yeah, being punished partly for being Black, partly for being in proximity to the United States, and largely for being defiant.
Yes.
And I believe when you look at, the Haitian Revolution was meant to be the first Black independence war in the Western Hemisphere. They're still being punished for it. And with Cuba, Haiti, and Grenada, which was crushed, they called in the ancestors. They went to their traditional means and called on the ancestors and their African indigenous traditions to take down empire.
Right.
And now they're paying a price. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then we'll hear what you guys saw and heard on the ground when you were in Cuba. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Timmy Eswick with BIN News Now. Two California Democratic representatives, Ted Lieu and Pete Aguilar, say the White House is hiding information about President Donald Trump's health after Trump abruptly canceled the signing of a bipartisan bill he was set to sign into law to help Americans with the housing crisis. Here's Ted Lieu.
He has trouble staying awake at multiple White House events and cabinet meetings. He has clearly some weakness in one of his arms. He's got swelling in his hands, and the White House needs to come clean.
Well, to Lackland Air Force Base, where NBC News says the flu outbreak has gotten worse, the military confirming over 275 cases. It comes as Pete Hegseth ended mandatory flu vaccinations in the military. R&B singer Money Long opening up about her health scare last year, saying she had to get a double lung transplant after doctors told her she only had a week to live. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams will play her first singles match in 4 years against 20-year-old Maya Joint of Australia. Serena and Joint will meet up Tuesday in the first round of Wimbledon in London. Joint, ranked number 53 in the World Tennis Association rankings, is 20 years younger than Serena. The Compton native is playing her first singles match since the U.S. Open in 2022. Serena has won the Wimbledon Singles Championship 7 times. She and her sister Venus are playing in the Wimbledon doubles competition. Wimbledon starts on Monday. The U.S. men's soccer team needs to regroup after losing to Turkey 3-2 Thursday night in the World Cup at SoFi. The U.S. had already qualified for next week's knockout round before Thursday's match. Several of the team's frontline players did not play. The U.S. Group D champions will play Bosnia Wednesday in the round of 32 in Santa Clara. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genocidal Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genocidal Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genocidal Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genocide.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and other major statewide and local offices, including Mayor of Los Angeles, city attorney, and LA County Sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions directly, in real conversation, face to face. California Voices is brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, giving you the information you need before you vote. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Activist, community organizer, Black Lives Matter Grassroots Youth Vanguard co-founder Thandiwe Abdullah is here. Akili, who is the director of BLM Grassroots Field Team and also the founder of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, is here. Both of them were part of a delegation sponsored by the Institute of the Black World, Ron Daniels' organization, to Cuba. And it was just, it's been like a couple weeks at the most since you were there?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Just about a month.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Akili.
It feels like it was yesterday.
Right.
Because part of what the experience had for me, and I've been to Cuba and Thandiwe many times, and Cuba has, even with the blockade, which has been there for over 67 years, even with the sanctions that the Trump administration put on in 2016, it was still a vibrant people, a vibrant country. But this recent time I was there, it was really very different. The oil embargo has really crippled, the country and the people, and so they were not as vibrant. They were not as into it as I've seen in the past, and so.
It's hard to be vibrant when you're being starved out,
Right.
Out. And that is the criminal part of it, that we are purposely and deliberately starving people because we don't agree with their political system. And that, I think, is the worst. And one of the things I want to address very quickly is that Cuba is being drawn being, shown as a terrorist country, as a communist country. The people of Cuba are well educated, well informed. They have one of the best health systems in the world, and they want Americans to know the truth about them. They eliminated their literacy in 1 year. They went from a 90% illiteracy to full illiteracy in 1 year. They have more colleges than any other Latin American country, and most, and they have one of the best healthcare systems in the world. So good that they import it to other countries. They have trained over 31,000 doctors for around the world, and so this idea that this is a communist terrorist country is absurd, and we've got to speak out and speak against that.
Yep, and that's that's ongoing. That's pretty much U.S. propaganda 101, which is to label, and they are a communist country. I mean, it's a communist government.
Right.
But guess what? We don't get to do is pick the governance systems of other nations.
Shocker.
They have eliminated illiteracy.
Yes.
They have helped countries around the world with doctors. I know this government, under the Trump administration, has forced other countries to stop using Cuban doctors. Has
lots of Caribbean countries, South American countries. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to see all these countries one by one be forced to say, follow the U.S. playbook of, oh, these Cuban doctors are being exploited, when really, they're helping. It's their duty to humanity. And when you talk to these Cuban doctors, I mean, there's all these sorts of narratives that the U.S. is painting about them. They say that they're being enslaved. They say that these doctors are enslaved. But when you talk to these Cuban doctors, they're like, no, it's my humanitarian duty. It's an honor to serve. It's an honor. And it's also helpful for them to escape the conditions of Cuba, unfortunately. I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, and those conditions are, the U.S. press says that it's based on their economic choices or them being
no, it's a strangulation.
We've been blockading them for 60 years.
Right.
If the U.S. is sitting on your head for 60 years, it's hard. But they're still suffering, right?
Yes.
So it's easy for us to say, oh, bravo you, but they're the ones that have to suffer. Well, you've been to Cuba 3 times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
What, and Akili was just pointing out how it's different now, even though they've been under blockade for 60 years. The seizure of the Venezuelan oil by the U.S. and the president of Venezuela choking off that oil supply and threatening Russia to keep them from supplying oil. How do you see it different from other times you visit? Like, what were the visible signs of that on the ground?
I mean, it's honestly heartbreaking having that background, knowing people. I mean, I have friends in Cuba at this point. It's been, like you said, 3 times. Baba Akili and I actually share a friend, a comrade. Her name is Melanie. And she is just such a light. I mean, she was always so bubbly, super peppy. A lot of Cuban people have different opinions on their government, their political systems, political beliefs. But Melanie, you could tell Melanie just wanted to live a good life. I mean, she was determined to really make the best out of the life that she was living. To come back this time and barely even be able to see her, right? Because she lives very far, kind of far from Havana, over in the countryside. There's no gas, right? So she has to pay an exorbitant amount of money for a taxi or for a ride to get to where we are. And she made that sacrifice just to see us. She told us that she lost her job as a teacher because there's no electricity for the children in schools anymore. So there's only specific days that the kids can go to school. And like Baba Akili said, this is a country with a 100% literacy rate, that children are not able to attend school because there's no electricity to turn on the classroom lights. There's no money to pay the teachers. Melanie said that she's not even considering having children. She's a young woman. She's in her early 30s. She's like, I'm not thinking about children anymore. Someone on our delegation asked her, and she was like, that's not an option for me. I don't have the income for that. To see the light kind of go out of her eyes of this person who we know, and this is how we know her, as a very bubbly and upbeat person, that's kind of when it really sunk in for me. Things are bad. Things are bad. Things are really hitting folks who tried never to think about, you know, how serious their situation was. People who were just trying to make the best of their lives are also being impacted by this. They can't refrigerate their groceries, right? You have to buy and eat things the same day. You don't know if you're going to be able to eat the next day. You don't know if you can cook. I mean, these are the situations that Cubans are dealing with on the ground. So yeah, it was a very big wake-up call for me that this is not the Cuba that we know, that we're used to. I mean, even that version was also a Cuba that was under attack, but this, I mean, Cubans are calling it genocidal, and I see why.
Akili, you had mentioned off the air that you guys had the opportunity to meet with the president of the country.
Yes, we met with the president, we met with the foreign ministers, we met with the speaker of the assembly, and we thought it was just going to be, you know, kind of photo op, and take a few
Okay, you know what, Akili? I'm sorry, but the protest there is loud, and I'm glad that
Yes,
it's
it
loud.
is.
What are they chanting?
But well, they're shouting "No justice, no peace" right now, and I'm trying to move a little bit away from it, but very quickly, because I know that, you know, we don't always have a whole lot of time. But one of the things I was impressed with that meeting with the president, first of all, he gave us an enormous amount of time.
Yes.
Secondly, he answered our questions. He didn't. I mean, he gave us what politicians do, but he was willing to do that. And I left there with two impacts. One, this was a tragedy, and it's deliberately being done to the people. It's not.
Right.
This is not some kind of hurricane that happened, and the people don't have access to resources. We are deliberately, methodically starving the people of Cuba because we don't agree with their political form of government. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the people there are resilient. The people there simply want to be able to live their lives. Yes. A woman told me, she said, we want to be able to breathe.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading, and actually I did interview someone from the Cuban embassy in New York, and they were talking about how they cannot, they don't have medicines, and they cannot keep the lights on at the hospitals, so babies, I know you guys are protesting for baby Kohen Wiley, and the family is calling for the boycott of Walmart to buy black-owned. But babies are dying in Cuba because the U.S. is starving them of oil and gas.
Yeah.
To me, that is, the UN just said that what's happening in Gaza is genocide because the Israeli army is deliberately targeting babies. How is what the U.S. is doing in Cuba different than that?
It's not.
And I think one of the most impactful, and please, Thandiwe, get into this, is our meeting that we had at the major hospital there with the doctors and nurses. And this one doctor who broke down because people are dying from preventable reasons. And, and he teared up. And, of course, it made everybody else in the room teared up. So, Thandiwe, would you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, that moment was, I think, the moment that stuck with all of us on the delegation because, like Bob Akili said, the Cuban people and the Cuban government, they treated us very well. I mean, they're used to having people come and try and advocate and build solidarity. But what was interesting and unique about our delegation, we're an all-Black delegation full of Black professionals and every field, right? We had sociologists, mental health workers, journalists, spiritual leaders, pastors, we had organizers, and so we had to health workers talk to these doctors and ask questions. And what you could really see in that moment is Black people's empathy. We asked these doctors, how is this situation affecting you? They were telling us the situation of what the medical situation is, very clinical, right? They had these prepared media responses, but we were like, how is this impacting you? What do you feel about this? And this doctor completely just broke it. He's never been asked a question like this before. And he was like, I'm not separate from this situation. I'm a part of, even though I'm a doctor and I'm sitting here and talking to you, This Cuban crisis is also my crisis. I watch my patients die every day from preventable reasons, and he's just in tears. And the whole room is tearing up. The nurses, the other doctors. I mean, this was the point of our trip, that we really felt the humanity between all of us. And I think that the campaign, the genocidal, I've adopted the term genocidal. It's a genocidal campaign against Cuba. There's so many parallels, I think, to what I've seen happening in Gaza. Preventable deaths in hospitals, the manufactured lack of resources causing these deaths, right? People dehumanize Cubans so much that we forget what we're actually saying. We're saying that babies are dying, that doctors are manually operating breathing machines, that dialysis patients are walking around without their medicine, right? And when you see it in person, it's almost impossible to not say, this is genocidal. How can you look at these children and say, they don't deserve to be in school? How can you look at these people standing so upright, right, and say they don't have the ability to determine what their own country should look like? And so I left that that delegation really feeling like, no, Cuba needs to have its sovereignty. These are people who deserve, you know, if more than anyone. I'm sorry, I know everyone deserves to have their autonomy, but Cubans are special. They are a special people, so loving and so human. I can't imagine doing something like this to them.
I mean, and one of the reasons I wanted to play Bon Bon is because I know that one of the things that has sustained the Cuban people since their revolution and for 60 years of defying the U.S. within almost a stone's throw of the giant. I mean, you talk about David and Goliath, is the music, the arts, the culture, their African culture, their uniquely African dance and folklore. Yeah. And so imagine it would take, what, a couple hours by boat? A few, 45 minutes by plane. If the United States wanted to go and bring aid and save these babies and these children,
they could do it today. They could have done it yesterday.
Right.
The fact is that they actually just want to see Cuba die. They want to see these Cubans die. That is the policy. So we actually asked, Cubans were calling it a genocidal policy the entire time we were there. And so one of the people on our delegation said, why do you use this term? And they said, well, look at the situation. Just look at people. And so, yeah, the policy is one of death. We condemn you to die unless you do what we say. That is the U.S.'s policy towards Cuba.
When we come forward, I want to talk about, what, if anything, we can do, what they think is happening next, what you think is happening next, any other notes of what you saw on the ground. I think it's so important, the eyewitness aspect, because of all the stories in the world, the two I would say that the U.S. media does the worst job reporting on are Cuba and Palestine.
Yes.
My opinion. 800-920-1580, not too late if you want to get in. You're listening to unapologetically anti-genocidal KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
You've been hearing about it, and now it's your chance to get tickets to the LA Jazz Festival on the beach. Saturday, August 22nd, party on the sand with Janelle Monáe, Charlie Wilson, and Parliament Funkadelic. On Sunday the 23rd, it's John Legend, Raphael Sadiq, Original Coffee, Terrace Martin, and more. 2 epic days for a first ever music festival on Dockweiler Beach. Tickets are selling fast at lajazzfestival.com.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers.
superpowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
Listen up, KBLA delegation. We have something you need to hear. Right now, you may qualify for low-cost home internet. And we're not talking about a catch. This is real. Many internet service providers offer low-cost internet plans if anyone in your household is enrolled in CalFresh, Medi-Cal, SSI, or is income eligible. There are a lot of families in our community who deserve to be connected. Here's all you do. Call 844-461-7893. That's the Get Connected call center. Real people ready to help you enroll today. Or go online to internetforallnow.org to find a provider near you. You may also qualify for a low-cost computer through Human IT. Connectivity is not a luxury. In 2026, it's a necessity. And you deserve access just like everybody else. Call 844-461-7893. That's 844-461-7893. KBLA's got you. If you missed any of this, you can always go to our website at KBLA1580.com. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 in partnership with the California Emerging Technology Fund, CETF.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Oh, my. You can hear Akili and Thandiwe from time to time on This Is Not a Drill, Saturday mornings. That's the Black Lives Matter show here on KBLA Talk 1580. They are both radio hosts in their own right, as well as activists. And you guys both know that time flies when you're on the radio. We don't have a lot of time left. Akili, what's your urgent dispatch from what you saw on the ground in Cuba and what we can do about it?
First thing is that the Cuban people want us to know that they're open to talk, they're open to negotiation, but they want to do it from a basis of respect. They want to do it from a basis of self-determination, and they want to do it from a basis of sovereignty. Secondly, that the people of Cuba are asking for the people of America to support them in all the ways that they can. Even though there's a boycott and an embargo, there are ways that we can support the Cuban people, starting out by calling your own member of Congress. And I want to give a shout-out to the Black Congressional Caucus. They've been out front on this. So we can support the people.
Okay. It's really, really loud, Akili, which I'm really, really happy about. You're protesting for justice in the name of baby Kohen Wiley. The call is to boycott Walmart and buy Black-owned. I think I've been boycotting them for at least 10 years, but you can join me. And the funeral is tomorrow. I look forward to hearing your report back on that as well. Thank you, Akili.
Thank you all so much.
And here in the studio, where it's quiet but we're loud on the inside, what do you think we ought to be doing or could be doing to help Cuba at this point?
Yeah, I think Baba Akili was spot on. Sorry, hope y'all can hear me. Baba Akili was spot on. I mean, I think the first thing that we can all do to resist this campaign, this genocidal campaign against Cuba, is to change our mindset. The U.S. is saying that we shouldn't care about them, that they're in a different country, we have nothing in common. They are 90 miles away from the coast of Florida. These are our relatives, our cousins, our primos. So we need to be standing in solidarity, shoulder to shoulder, and seeing their struggle as really a struggle of Black folks everywhere. And I think that was the main point of this delegation brought together by Ron Daniels with the Institute of the Black World is Cuba is our family, right? They've done so much for us and for the world, and it's time that they see a return on that. It's not really an investment from the Cuban perspective. It's their humanitarian obligation in their eyes to go and send doctors and, support the world. So I think it's up to us to really meet them with those ideals of, let's join you in your humanitarian fight for sovereignty, for liberation, and let's also try and get some of the same sentiment going on here in the U.S. We can learn a thing or two from Cuba about being upright people with a strong moral and a strong moral compass and conscience.
I mean, it's actually closer to the United States than Santa Barbara is to L.A.
Wow.
So that's how close it is, and that's how intentional the starving of these people and preventing them from getting their medicine. That's how intentional it is. It would be like taking a trip to Santa Barbara.
Wow.
It's crazy. Thandiwe, thank you for sharing your what you saw, your observations. Tell us how we can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram at Thandiwe Abdullah, and please follow BLM Los Angeles on Instagram as well for more up-to-date information about all the other things we're doing.
Also, we know it's Akili for the people on Instagram. I would also encourage you to follow in case you want to help baby Kohen Wiley or Carmelo Anthony or the family of Keith Porter, so many others. Thank you again for being here, and thank you for
having me, and thank you for continuing to talk about Cuba. That is so important. And please, listeners, don't forget to talk about Cuba in your lives as well.
Yeah, we can multitask, believe it or not. We can multitask, and we will multitask. And man, I just pray for Cuba too. I think I'm praying for Venezuela. They've had these 2 massive earthquakes, hundreds of people dead. And if anyone should be praying for them, it's Los Angeles. Time for Tavis Smiley. The best of Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got the highlights of the week that was, and they are pretty great. If you missed any of my shows, including any of our Freedman Friday reparations series or the great conversation this week with singer Eric Benet, they're all found on YouTube or wherever you get your pods. Like my dad, the late, great Amiri Baraka, who traveled to Cuba when he was with us, he would say a person is either free or they are not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. Until next time, my beloved KBLA delegation, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Timmy Eswick with BIN News Now. 2 California Democratic representatives, Ted Lieu and Pete Aguilar, say the White House is hiding information about President Donald Trump's health after Trump abruptly canceled the signing of a bipartisan bill he was set to sign into law to help Americans with the housing crisis. Here's Ted Lieu.
He has trouble staying awake at multiple White House events and cabinet meetings. He has clearly some weakness in one of his arms. He's got swelling in his hands, and the White House needs to come clean.
Well, to Lackland Air Force Base, where NBC News says the flu outbreak has gotten worse. The military confirming over 275 cases. It comes as Pete Hegseth ended mandatory flu vaccinations in the military. R&B singer Money Long opening up about her health scare last year, saying she had to get a double lung transplant after doctors told her she only had a week to live. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Serena Williams will play her first singles match in 4 years against 20-year-old Maya Joint of Australia. Serena and Joint will meet up Tuesday in the first round of Wimbledon in London. Joint, ranked number 53 in the World Tennis Association rankings, is 20 years younger than Serena. The Compton native is playing her first singles match since the U.S. Open in 2022. Serena has won the Wimbledon Singles Championship 7 times. She and her sister Venus are playing in the Wimbledon doubles competition. Wimbledon starts on Monday. The U.S. men's soccer team needs to regroup after losing to Turkey 3-2 Thursday night in the World Cup at SoFi. The U.S. had already qualified for next week's knockout round before Thursday's match. Several of the team's frontline players did not play. The U.S. Group D champions will play Bosnia Wednesday in the round of 32 in Santa Clara. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Some interesting developments as it relates to Destination Crenshaw, or Procrastination Crenshaw, as it's known around these parts. So, just north of us on Crenshaw Boulevard in the 10th Council District, there's a black-owned restaurant called The District. Apparently, the restaurant is in some sort of legal dispute with the landlord, and it's gotten pretty ugly. So ugly, in fact, that the 3 black members of the LA City Council recorded a video in support of the restaurant, which is now circulating online. You might have seen it by now. To be clear, here at KBLA, we have nothing but love for Council members Heather Hutt and Curran D. Price Jr., who have been real champions for this particular Black-owned and operated business, even though KBLA does not sit in either of their council districts. But take a listen to our 8th District Council member, Marquise Harris Dawson, who, as you know, is also president of the LA City Council.
Marquise Harris Dawson, president of the Los Angeles City Council and representative of District 8. We just want you to know, from the 10th District to the 8th District and all across the city, we love the district. We support Tyree and the whole team that's there. It's one of the most beloved sports watching facilities in our district, and we all stand by them 100%.
All right, now for starters, lip service is not leadership, and slogans are not solutions.